Hydraulic fracturing, or fracking, is an increasingly controversial way to drill for oil and gas. The process involves pumping water, sand, and a cocktail of toxic chemicals deep into the ground at a pressure high enough to crack open shale rock and release the oil or gas within it, along with toxic wastewater. The oil and gas industry is expanding fracking at a frenzied pace across the country, leaving families, landowners, and communities to pay the price in health and environmental impacts. While companies like Exxon insist that fracking is safe, there have been more than 1,000 documented cases of water contamination from fracking operations. Despite these terrible problems, fracking remains exempt from key provisions of the laws designed to protect our water and our family's health. One example is what happened to Susquehanna County, Pennsylvania resident Tammy Manning.
I knew absolutely nothing about fracking when we moved here. It's all around us. It's all around us.
After drillers began working on 2 fracking wells near Tammy Manning's house in Montrose, Pennsylvania, her well water became contaminated and her granddaughter, Madison, suffered bouts of nausea.
My granddaughter's bedroom is right above our kitchen, and she woke up vomiting in the mornings, several mornings a week. We called Franklin Township. They told us to call the gas company in the area that was working, and when we did, they came out, and then the next day they sent the DEP out to take water samples. But when he came in, he turned on our faucet in the kitchen, and he had a wand that he was waving next to our faucet, and it was beeping and just sounding off like crazy.
Madison only got better once the Mannings stopped using water from the well. Dr. Pune Saberi, an occupational and environmental medicine physician, has researched cases of many patients living on the front lines of fracking in Pennsylvania.
Residents and workers who have come forward complaining that they have medical problems after that they manifested themselves after they were exposed to hydrofracturing processes. They complain about nausea, sinus problems, shortness of breath, sleeping difficulties, rashes. Given the multiple reports that have been coming in for the last 2 years, we now know that they are not just anecdotes. They are what we consider or what we think are the tip of the iceberg.
The problem is not unique to Pennsylvania. Researchers at the University of Colorado School of Public Health found elevated health risks for people living near drilling operations in that state. Moreover, fracking generates millions of gallons of toxic wastewater. Laced with cancer-causing and even radioactive materials, this toxic waste has leaked, spilled, or been dumped into waters from Ohio to New Mexico. That track record, combined with other impacts of the drilling boom, has even former industry executives rethinking the issue.
The way it started was people that knew that I had worked in the industry asked questions about the safety of fracking close to the lake that provides drinking water to the village of Cooperstown where I live. And initially I thought, well, methane is a lot better substitute for coal in terms of emissions. But as I dug into it, I became concerned that the technology that was being used to frack in shale is significantly different than the old conventional drilling. No matter what you do with the technology and with the regulations, the process just of its own creates the possibility of either toxic fluids used in the drilling process getting into the drinking water system, or methane gas getting into drinking water aquifers or getting into the atmosphere.
Despite all these dangers, fracking remains exempt from key provisions of the Safe Drinking Water Act, the Clean Water Act, and our nation's hazardous waste laws. And now, the industry is looking to drill right next to drinking water sources for millions of Americans. In light of this mounting threat, people in states most affected by fracking are beginning to speak up with the help of organizations like Environment America. Environment America is a federation of citizen-supported organizations in 29 states with more than 1 million supporters. This organization is working on the front lines of the fracking issue, bringing together local activists and community leaders to call on President Obama to protect our family's health and our natural resources and to hold the industry accountable.
We don't see any evidence that fracking can be done safely. We've seen 161 cases where the DEP, or State Department of Environmental Protection, has found that groundwater has been impacted by fracking operations. We've seen that the gas industry has produced more than 1.3 billion gallons of wastewater, which is often laced with toxic chemicals and chemicals that are harmful to people. My own research has shown that in just 3 years, more than 3,000 violations of our state environmental laws have been caused by the gas drilling industry. So all of that is just the tip of the iceberg and points to, no, this industry, this fracking cannot be done safely.
John Rumpler is senior attorney with Environment America.
Environment America is working from Colorado to California to New York to stop fracking wherever we can. We're working with farmers, mayors, hundreds of thousands of concerned Americans who want to protect their families, their health, and their communities from the toxic threat of fracking. And we're also advocating for solutions that will move America from dirty oil and gas to truly clean energy like wind and solar. And for the places we can't stop fracking, we're calling on President Obama to do what he can to at least reduce the damage of this dirty drilling. First thing that President Obama can do is close the loopholes. Call for an end to the loopholes that exempt fracking from our nation's environmental laws. Second thing is, the president should use his authority to declare sensitive areas, like places that provide drinking water for millions of Americans, to be off limits to fracking. We know that the oil and gas industry will oppose even these modest solutions. So we need more people to join in the fight right now.
To find out how to take action, visit environmentamerica.org.